Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining. If you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please type them into the questions box on your screen, and we'll be sure to get those answered at the end. With that being said, Alex, I will turn it over to you.
All right. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alex Burns, and I'm the Vice President here at P3. And I'm also in charge of development. So that makes what we're talking about today here pretty important because we've got a great relationship with the RCC team, the development team, and we've been working really closely with them over the course of the past, 6 months, maybe closer to a year, to really bring this RCC and P3 integration together. So we're going to kind of step through today what that integration looks like currently and really the future where we're headed. So joining me today, I have Freddie Ridler from RCC. I'm going to pass it over to him to introduce himself and talk a little bit about RCC before we jump into the meat of this thing. So yeah, Freddie, if you want to jump in and just introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. And also thanks P3 for letting me be on your webinar series. Again, I am Freddie Ridler, Head of Business Growth at Rural Computer Consultants. RCC is a back office software that specializes in the fuel and propane industry. Exceptional support. We're a very family atmosphere company. We believe that the number one thing is a family atmosphere to bring our service and support to our customers. RCC has been going since the late 70s, so we have a lot of expertise in the software industry. We have over 75 employees right now, and combined, it's about 655 years of experience within our company, which is super cool. We do have a lot more in the industry, but as far as the RCC years, we call it, it's 655. So it's really awesome to have that big group around you. What's really unique about working for a company for so long, and I've been here for 19 years, are the friends that you meet in the industry. For example, the P3 crew. By engaging with the NPGA, like the benchmark meetings, the board of director meetings, we do sponsorships, we fill some seats in council meetings, we attend state associations, expos, trade shows, just a lot going on. But the great thing about being engaged like we are is the stories and the friendships we make. And one of those is with P3 to learn about their product and how it can work with our product. A huge shout out to Jerry. I know Jerry and Tom at RCC and Jerry at P3 have been longtime friends. So I want to give them a huge shout out because it all stemmed around those two. They've been talking about the P3 integration before I was even in the sales department at RCC. So it all kind of started with that friendship. But yeah, I mean, just being part of the industry, you learn about what other products are out there, what other vendors have to share with our industry, because the propane industry is so small that we all want to help each other. And the end goal is to give a service that they need. And sometimes it takes two businesses coming together to offer that service. So we're really excited to be working with P3. One more huge shout out that I have to do is I also do 2 podcasts. We did one with P3. One of the podcasts is called Fuel the Conversation. It's an RCC podcast. Or if you're a women in propane fan, you will also know that we do another podcast called Through the Leadership Lens. So check them out. If you want to learn more about industry and news and leadership and what's all happening, feel free to check those out. But I'm excited to be here, even though I'm planning a 3.5-day seminar, an RCC customer seminar in the next week. I'm hoping that if there's some RCC folks listening in and you're going to the seminar, we're really excited to see you in a few weeks. But yeah, it's been busy. It's been awesome. The propane industry is great, and I'm really excited to see where the P3 integration goes with RCC.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Freddie. So I think just, as kind of to give everybody an idea here, and I think we got a mix of people on the phone today, people who are RCC customers, P3 customers, both, maybe one or the other. So just, kind of interesting. And so hopefully we'll be able to provide some insight for everybody, no matter what your circumstance is. So one of the things that we just kind of wanted to mention is, we've talked about us kind of working closely together. So just so that everybody here knows, we're going to talk about, again, what's already live, but also the direction that we're headed in. And so to get to where we're headed, our teams are meeting regularly. Our management teams, our development teams are meeting on at least a monthly basis, if not more frequently. When we're really pushing through development processes, sometimes we're meeting on a weekly basis so that our developers are getting together, making sure that everything, makes sense. And we're, a lot of times we're bringing specific customers in as well to make sure that the way that we're designing this stuff is ultimately going to be the best fit for the end user. So that's an important part of the way that we operate, and just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody here knew how closely our teams are really working together and how great that process has been.
Yeah, if I could say a little bit about that too, before I go into depth of what's coming on their agenda. I want to highlight that because when you start working with a vendor, you don't want to jump the gun too quickly. A lot goes into it. It's not just, hey, we want an integration with P3, okay, flip a switch, ready to go. It takes both ends to work together. And that's one of the great things about P3 is their staff, the communication has been phenomenal. That's what made this rollout so quick. Whenever we had a question, they're on top of it because a lot goes into it. There's just so many steps to get from point A to point Z. And I really want to highlight that working with P3, we were able to meet all of those steps, and that's why we're really excited to see where this brings us.
Absolutely, no, we couldn't agree more. The feeling is mutual, which has been great. So I think where we wanted to kind of start off is we're going to kind of talk about this integration in terms of phases. So really where we are now is we've gone live with what we're going to call phase 1. So let me wanted to just show you a little bit about what phase 1 looks like. So this is kind of what we've worked towards. It hasn't been rolled out for all clients yet, but we've got it going for there's a couple different circumstances and ways that customers flow from RCC into P3. So we've kind of worked out multiple customers who kind of fall into these different buckets, so we can kind of have all of our bases covered as we roll out more integrations in the future here. So what we've got here is a test site. So anybody that's familiar with P3 this is what you'd see when you come in to your dashboard. But what phase 1 consists of is you'd come in here to your account list, and what you're going to see is this is the data that's coming over from RCC directly into P3. So you can see this is exactly how the information is housed in RCC. So what this does is it keeps the two systems speaking the same language. There is no dual data entry. It's just the information is coming over. Your account list in RCC is your account list in P3. So we're just trying to keep that as clean as possible. There's other efficiency gains here as well. If you have technicians in the field using mobile, all they have to do is enter that account number. Automatically going to pull up the name, the address, the location, all properly cased, and no typos and all that, because it was put into RCC correctly. So when we first begin the integration, it's going to be a one-time download at that point, or push of data coming over. All of your propane accounts are going to populate into P3, and then moving forward, each night on a nightly basis, P3 is going to receive gains and losses from RCC. So if you add a new customer in RCC overnight, that's going to pop into P3. If you have a customer that you're no longer working with, that's going to come over as an archive, and then that's going to remove that into an archive category in P3, so that it's no longer reporting, that maybe it has a regulator that's expiring, or whatever it might be. It's no longer going to be part of your reports, but all of the data associated with that account is still going to be available in your archives if you need it. But the integration is really keeping P3 clean and tidy and synced up, and kind of the same customer list that you've got in RCC, you're going to have here in P3. So you're always going to be able to tell. This is just an example. Again, this is a test database, but normally in an activity log, you'd see safety inspections being completed, photo inspections, whatever the work might be. But it's always going to tell you, exactly that it came over from RCC. If there was an update to the account, whatever it is, you'll always be able to tell when that information came from RCC. So that's, again, kind of phase 1, the very beginning of where we're headed with the integration. So I don't know, Freddie, if there's anything that you wanted to tag on there with phase one, or?
Yeah. So I believe, and I'm sorry if I didn't catch it right, but you said overnight we'll send you changes. We actually are sending real-time changes to P3.
Real time. Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah.
Our developer,
Thank you.
when we, part of the process of working with an integration is not just one or two people at RCC. It starts with our leadership team. And on our leadership team is our head of development, Nate Ball. And one of the things he said was, okay, what currently is P3 doing? And we said, we'll send, a daily dump. He says, let's do it real time. Because let's not, we always look to see what can we do that doesn't paint us in a corner. Like, what is the future? What is the long-term goal of this? And it's keeping data in sync. So when we did this phase one, not only are we sending data the very first time and kind of populating P3 with all the information, but any changes you make to a customer location or equipment, it will be changed on the P3s end almost real time. So know that if you are making changes on or in RCC, that is going to be down there pretty quick. That was one of the things that, again, we actually have a whiteboard of all the things that we want to do with P3. We just don't share that because we see the benefits of all of it. And we went through and said, what are all the things we can do with P3? Like, let's look at unicorns and rainbows. Let's pretend we could do anything in the world. What do our end users want? And I actually reached out to a lot of our end users that were some of the first P3 users and said, what can we do as a back office software to help promote and complement P3, right? So that one of the things was we want to see real-time information. So we'll tell you more other things that we're going to be doing, but for the phase one side of it, Alex, I just want to make sure that we did take it a step further and said any changes we happen right away.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yeah, thank you. That's an important point. I'm glad you talked about that.
Yeah.
So I think with that, Freddie, do you want to kind of talk a little bit about phase two and what that, as we kind of move towards that direction, what that may encompass?
Mm-hmm. So let me know when you guys can see my screen.
I think we got you there.
Awesome. So this is just RCC. Inside of our product, Rural Computer Consultants, we call this version 10. This is our look in the field. This is our hub. This is where we store all the information. Like Alex was saying on the P3 website or the API, like here's all the information that our RCC is passing through. Here it all is inside of RCC. But one of the things that we wanted to do was not start here and say, jeepers, I'm talking to ABC company. Let me go out to P3 and check things out, check for safety, check for forms, check for documents, go through and do any inspections. We want to be able to have a shortcut right from our system to P3. Like I said, our slogan is everything under one roof, right? We want to be able to do everything from one piece of software. Sometimes we need some help from vendors like P3, but that doesn't mean that we still can't take them under our umbrella. So what our programmer said is, I would love if RCC user is using the product to go right into a P3. And what we did is we created more options, P3 external location lookup. If you click that button from the customer general screen, it goes right into the customer information. If you click on any single location, we bring you right to that location. So again, thinking outside the box, what can we do to speed up the process? Once you click that, now I'm in the portal. Now I'm inside P3 with all ABC comms information, all the containers, all the inspections, all the activity log. It's a quick way to get there right from our product because, like I said, everything underneath one roof with the help of even some great vendors like P3, we can still do that with our product. So that is a little bit about RCC and kind of the shortcut we put in place there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great because we recognize, that we recognize that. Sorry, I just think I shared my screen in a strange way. I'm gonna change this.
And while you're doing that, I'll say one more thing too. If there's some RCC customers out there listening going, hey, that's really neat, I don't have that yet. All you gotta do is reach out to your favorite RCC support. The version is 10.03.04.01, 10.03.04.01. Just reach out and say, you're already integrated with P3 and you'd like to have that shortcut in version 10. And if you're not a P3 user, make sure you reach out to their sales team and figure out how you can be a P3 integration with RCC.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. And what I wanted to mention before I screwed that up there was one of the things that we really recognize is we understand that you guys running a propane company, that you're living inside RCC, right? That's where your customer base is. That's where you're kind of navigating all these things. And we are so specialized in propane safety, and that's the space that we live in. So we understand that really where you're accessing a lot of this information is RCC. So we just really love the idea of that direct connection, because you're there, you're looking at that customer, and you have a question about what happened on the most recent safety inspection. Boom, brings you right there to P3 where the safety documentation is. So we just really see, kind of rolling out that phase 2 link. We see that as being really important, and kind of like Freddie said, we understand through talking to our customers that this is something that is really valuable, and that's why we want to bring something like this to you all. So I just want to kind of tack on that. So
yeah, and I want to say that time is something we don't get back in life. So the quicker we can give you access to things, the better. And that was recommended by a few of our RCC customers. We'd love to take credit on that. But when you just listen, you can really learn a lot about what's needed in anything in life, period. But especially with the industry and our customers, and they said it takes, we love the integration, but now we're having to use a separate website to capture the information. That kind of, can I go into phase 3 a little bit about what we're planning on doing?
Absolutely. I was thinking we should go there. So this is perfect.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll right into phase 3 because, again, with our leadership team, our head developer, our great developers, one of the things that they said was, okay, this link is cool, but it's a desktop application. It's a clicking a link, opening up a web browser, and using a keyboard and mouse to punch stuff in. What can we do for service techs? What can we do for drivers? What can we do and put in their hands where it's not so much of a keyboard and mouse application, but a point and click or point and take pictures or tap for inspections or tap for this? So currently P3 and RCC are working, they're actually collaborating together ideas on this process to take their product and stick it in our mobile solution called Mogo. So again, we listen to our customers. They have our handheld solution for service work, deliveries, fuels, cylinders, whatever they're doing, but mostly service. They use P3's app to bring up customer information and do any type of safety inspections. We're gonna bring those together. We're gonna blend those two products together so they can use one piece of hardware out in the field that, again, we can take underneath our umbrella and say you can use our hardware along with P3's services, and now you kind of have a whole solution right there, right at their fingertips. So we're really excited about that process.
Yeah, we're at P3 too. This is, this is really going to be first of its kind integration. We haven't done anything like that. We've done a lot of the back off, the kind of back end stuff, the sharing of documents back and forth or account links and stuff, but we've never taken any of our integrations as far as coming directly from a mobile service into our mobile service. So we're really excited to bring that new functionality, because we know that's going to be, like Freddie referred to how valuable time is earlier. And I think this is a really good example of how we think this is really gonna help people and create some efficiency. And we know that's important.
Exactly.
So Freddie, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about. I think maybe if we could open it up for questions, unless you had anything else specific you wanted to address before we check in with everybody out there.
No, we could check with everybody else. I just want to, again, a huge shout out to everyone who's involved. And there's just too many people with this integration. There's probably 10 or 15 people on our end, a bunch of staff at P3's end. This can't be done with just one person. It takes a whole team and a team that works well together. So I just want to say that this integration, this whole process has been very seamless, to narrow it down to one word. So we at RCC really appreciate the business relationship we have with P3.
Thank you, Freddie. Yeah, this has been great. So with that, Jane, do you want to, I don't know if you can see if there's any questions that have popped up, and then we can just kind of see if it's a Freddie question or an Alex question, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Yeah. So the first question we got is, does real time cause any delays to the system? I think the
Not
real
that
time
we've-
integration.
No, I wouldn't. Not that we've ever seen. It's because it's such a small amount of data. Really, you know, like if a couple customers come over and it's just name, address, it's not like we're sending over inspections or photos or anything like that. It's a negligible amount of data. So not something that we've ever experienced issues with.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic question because we're discussions, I'll say our wish list is to eventually start talking about documents and images back into RCC. That was one of the things we talked about is when we're done with phase 3, if we move into the documents and forms, if we want anything that's being done in P3 signatures and have them stored in our system or archive or our imaging of RCC, that's a major concern. We don't want to slow anything down. So whenever we're talking about real-time communications or moving data back and forth, that is one of our largest concerns, is we cannot slow down the process. We got to make sure that you don't even know what's happening.
Great. Okay, so the next question we received is, can Freddie review the shortcut in RCC again? And is this live now or part of phase 2?
You betcha. Why don't you go ahead and share my screen again?
Okay.
So let me know when you can see my screen again.
We got you now.
it.
Awesome. This is in version 10. So if you look up in the top left of my computer screen, you should see 10.03.04.01. It's a mouthful, but that's a lot going on. There's versions, service pack, hot fixes in there. This is available. Again, just reach out to your favorite RCC staff that you normally work with, or just email sales@rccbi.com. You could do that too. Just email me, Freddie, or sales@rccbi.com. Once you pull up the customer inside of RCC, it's underneath the more options. So if you're underneath the customer, it'll say P3 external customer lookup. If you click on any specific location, it's going to change it to P3 external location lookup. So depending on what you're exactly looking for, we'll shoot you right over there. Then of course, just save your username and password and it logs you right in. That's one of the pieces that we want to eliminate with Mogo. So the drivers aren't having to log in, but typically, you know, if it's saved, you can just click log and it goes right into it.
Awesome. Okay. Great. The next one is, can you provide a link to this webinar recording so I can forward it to some other people in their office? So we do record this and it'll be posted on our website. So I can be sure to send this to you directly after the fact, but we do record these and have them posted. Okay, and I think that just about wraps up the questions that we've received so far. Yeah,
okay,
it looks
well, that's
like
great. That's it? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jane. So yeah, it sounds, if there's any other questions that come up, you know, don't hesitate to reach out. You know, I know the folks at RCC are super responsive and happy to hear from you, and so are we. So thank you for taking the time to join Freddie and I today. And Freddie, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to talk about this. I know this is important to all of us. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you everyone who's listening in. And I appreciate the questions, and thanks again to P3 and the integration with your services.
Thanks, Freddie. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.